Hello, everybody. All I can say is that it's about time. Finally, we're seeing the arrest, the charges, activist judges that have been found guilty by a jury. Guys, this is beautiful because, again, obstructing justice, fighting against the Trump admin, deportations, all this stuff, these activist judges are finally about to see justice. We have found Milwaukee leftist judge Hannah Duggan found guilty by jury on felony obstruction as she tried to help a criminal illegal alien evade ICE agents. She has been found guilty by a jury and is now facing up to 5 years in prison, everybody. We're not playing around. This is so big. Stuff that has come out this morning is mind-blowing on the amount of fraud, the waste, the abuse going to illegal aliens, the audits, the money, the billions of dollars. We have no clue where any of it's going. We are 100% about to put the smackdown on every single Democrat out there that said there wasn't fraud, there wasn't waste, there wasn't abuse, there wasn't no activist judges trying to help out illegal aliens. Guess what? The first one has gone down. Many more to come with what I'm about to tell you next. Because about half of more than roughly $18 billion in claims paid out to Medicaid to Minnesota-run programs have been found fraudulent. At least 14 programs were likely exploited, as federal prosecutors said. Guys, all this stuff that everybody's on the right had said that, guys, we just don't know, we feel like there's some fraud, it's worse than what we thought. Minnesota says they do not know or can't say how much SNAP fraud exists. This is SNAP, guys. After a 174% surge in benefits, auditors say eligibility is not checked and access is not controlled. And 6 more people, everybody, 6 more people have been charged in the Minnesota Somali building fraud schemes. They've raided and built a massive industrial scale fraud. Now it started off at $1 billion, then it went to $2 billion, then it went to $8 billion. Now it's over $9 billion. There is huge calls for Tim Walz over Minnesota to resign because of the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse that happened under his watch, that he took pictures with these people. He was up there promoting these people, and they were stealing from the taxpayers behind our backs. But this is where a lot of things are about to change. These 2 things I'm about to tell you, everybody. Number 1, Senate Republicans have just confirmed 97 President Trump's nominees in a party line 53-43 vote to get more of Trump's judges in place, guys. This is big. And we have Republican Senator Joni Ernst, who has announced that she is creating a database to expose the name of 383,000 bureaucrats collecting $38.3 billion from the public. This is straight from Senator Joni Ernst, everybody, a Republican who's been digging in to root out the swamp, guys. This is where it starts, guys. If you love this, hit the thumbs up like button, guys, because this is what we voted for. And to put the cherry on top, because you know I love to bring the receipts, guys. We have it where Fulton County, this is in Georgia, in the Georgia State Election Board, after a recent hearing, says it does not dispute that 315,000 early votes in the 2020 election of Biden versus Trump were illegally counted, giving Biden the win. Hear me again, guys. The Georgia State Election Board says it does not dispute that 315,000 early votes in 2020 were illegally counted, giving Biden the win. Evidence is here. Receipts are here. Big show for you today, guys, because I'm telling you, now that we got so many of Trump's judges in place, we have officially arrested, charged, and found guilty this activist judge that went against Trump's deportations, trying to help out an illegal alien. This is the first domino to fall. Many more to come with what we got to tell you today, because it's about dang time. People are sick and tired of not seeing the rest. Well, now it's about to start to happen. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, guys, in the comments. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching today. guys, is a big breaking news show today. I love it. So much fraud is being found, and when we find it, the American taxpayer is winning. Want to say, if you're not a part of the family yet, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. And want to say thank you to everybody that supports our channel in your giving. We're only a couple days away from our biggest giving day of the year, guys, in this Christmas time. Thank you to Richard John. Guys, thank you to Robert Cash, our boy Richard Crady Jr. Thank y'all so much. Show them some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting that thumbs up like button. And don't forget, guys, our partner chapter, if you are going, if you're on Medicare or about to be on Medicare, turning 65, or going through any big life change like moving, changing jobs, losing your health insurance or anything like that, this is a free service to you. We've had so many people that have literally been blessed getting thousands of dollars, guys, in benefits or saving thousands of dollars in their healthcare costs just by using this free service. And we bring this to you. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. The number is 667-895-3015. Don't miss out on your blessing, everybody, because what you're about to hear is massive. We got some big news for you today, and this is what we voted for. All this fraud is now being exposed. Check this out.
Federal prosecutors, Dana, in Minnesota have been warning and still warning that we're looking at the tip of the iceberg in terms of the extent of this fraud in Minnesota. As you mentioned, 6 new indictments and 1 guilty plea were announced yesterday as federal agents executed a search warrant on Ultimate Home Health Services, a Somali-owned home care agency. The new indictment zeroes in on the autism program called Early Intensive Developmental and Behavioral Intervention, or EIDBI, and zeroed in on housing stabilization programs. In the case of the housing stabilization programs, the Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson says defendants claim to provide housing assistance to people with mental illness or drug and alcohol problems, and they say the defendants submitted claims, provided no service. Thompson used the term fraud tourism, claiming 2 men from Philadelphia learned there was easy money in Minnesota, so they flew into the state, set up shop, and started billing the government. As far as defrauding the autism programs, Thompson introduced 1 new case of a defendant recruiting parents, getting bogus documents for a diagnosis of autism for the child. The parents would then get a kickback from the money intended to treat the autistic child.
Wow.
What we're seeing is programs that are just entirely fraudulent. These aren't companies that are providing some services but overbilling Medicare or Medicaid. These are companies that are providing essentially no services. They're essentially shell companies created to defraud the program, created to submit on a wholesale level.
Now, the housing stabilization program, for one, was created with a prediction it would cost $2.6 million annually. It ballooned to $21 million in 2021 and exploded to $104 million in 2024. All but a handful of the defendants thus far are part of the Minnesota Somali community. Some of the money did leave the U.S. There were real estate purchases in Kenya, to give you one example. But prosecutors say so far they have no evidence that the money funded the terror group Al-Shabaab. Dan.
Guys, do you hear this, guys? This is, again, we bring you the receipts, everybody. Minnesota admits it cannot track SNAP fraud. When there was a 174% increase in benefits, everybody dismissed the concerns, dismissed the reporting errors. They relied on false data. The state auditors literally failed to do their jobs that they were getting paid for because they just chose not to. State auditors found the agency fails to enforce eligibility rules and lacks basic controls. And again, Tim Walz is facing mass calls to resign after billions of additional fraud has been exposed, guys. Let me know in the chat, is this not exposing the deep state? This dude was going to be our VP if Kamala Harris would have won. But if you appreciate, guys, we are winning right now. And what I'm about to show you next, with the midterms coming up, we have a huge plan. If you love this, hit the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much, Robert Cash, for the super chat, brother. Said, blessed be the name of the Lord. Praise his holy name. Jesus, amen. I love it. Lori Rapier, thank you so much for the support. Said, Merry Christmas. That I can. Show Lori some love in the chat, everybody. OG of the family. Our boy Richard said, let's go. The truth shall set you free. Amen. Show Lori and Richard some love, as well as Google user with the popcorn today. Said, finally an arrest. Praise God. Stock up on the popcorn. The show has begun. Merry Christmas, y'all. I'm telling you guys, and it's only gonna get better. with what's coming, the amount of stuff that you're about to see. I love it because we are reporting this is just the facts of what's happening, and this is America winning, baby.
Basically, is going to be the horse you ride on for re-electing the Republican House. And you heard the speech, and you know what the politics are regarding the House. So what is the outlook as we discuss this before Christmas?
Well, no, I think good because I think we've had a remarkable year. I always say we make this job. I probably said it to you, Larry. We make this job way too complicated. It's really pretty basic. What'd you tell the voters you were going to do when you ran for the job? If you get elected, go do what you said. No one has done that better than President Trump. And of course, we've helped achieve the things that he's accomplished in this past year. So we just got to tell the voters. I mean, think about it. President Trump said he would cut taxes. He did. President Trump said he would secure the border. He did. We put in the big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cut in history, the largest investment in border security in history. President Trump said he'd get men out of women's sports. He did. See, President Trump said he would make sure Iran doesn't get nuclear capability. He did that. He said he would get the hostages back to Israel. He did that. He said he would increase in enlistment and recruitment into the armed services. He did that. And a bunch of other things like permitting we were talking about, all kinds of things he's done on the regulatory front, the tax front, and then just basic things that you're supposed to do when you run the federal government, like secure the border. So he has done what he said better than anyone I've ever seen. We need to go talk about that. And frankly, I would add one other thing. I do think it's always important to remind the voters that, remember, the left, not all Democrats, but the left is crazy, and talk about all their crazy policies. And then that's the comparison. Do you want to go back to crazy, or do you want common sense and the things we've accomplished with President Trump's leadership in the past?
I want to show you guys again. We have taken the next step with what you're about to see, how crazy the left wings are, how much they have infiltrated and literally are destroying American lives right now. Look at this right here. Soros DA, y'all know who George Soros is, ignores ICE detainer, releases El Salvadoran illegal who allegedly commits murder the next day. There are calls from the AG to hold the judge who released them, the DA, as accessory to murder. Because again, had they detained this illegal, who wasn't even supposed to be here in the first place, this other person would not have lost their life. Now, guys, let me know, because this is what's happening. This is across the board. All of Soros's DAs, all these left-wing lunatics are releasing these horrible, violent criminals into our society, and this is what's happening. They are crazy. Wendy Linton, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Merry Christmas. Say, keep praying for love and peace. Amen. Show our girl Wendy some love in the chat, as well as Lori Rapier. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, I'm telling you, we are about to see a huge change in the judicial system with what you're about to hear next.
Did he convince voters last evening that there is, in fact, going to be an economic boom in 2026? Because an economic boom will re-elect you and then some. Did he convince people? Are we going to see it in the sentiment polls and the confidence polls and the political polls, for that matter?
I think what he said, what he's done in this first year, have laid the groundwork for voters to be convinced. But in the end, they're going to have to feel it and see it. So that means the things you were talking about, interest rates come down. That's going to help with young families purchasing that first home. Gas prices are already down. When the big, beautiful bill really kicks in, these tax cuts, that's going to be helpful. The regulatory reforms we have done on energy and everything else, that's going to be helpful. And when this tariff issue gets fully ironed out, that's going to be helpful as well. So the trade deals, all these things together, I do believe they're going to kick in as we go into 2026 and moving through the second quarter of 26. And then that's good. That's good political environment.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, as you say, I have this in my riff. Let's not make this any harder than it needs to be. Supply side tax cuts, deregulation, drill, baby, drill, reciprocal fair trade. Let's not, I mean, these are the building blocks of I call it his reimagining new capitalism and prosperity. But here's the thing, my other question to you, Ms. Jordan, as a senior member of the House and a chairman of the committee, will the members go out there and carry the Trump scrolls because you got to read off the scroll. I mean, if you don't do it, you're going to lose. You try to get fancy, you try to ignore it, or you think because your father-in-law doesn't like Trump, you shouldn't like Trump. I mean, come on. The people that lost, in Jersey and Virginia, they didn't talk Trump. I don't know what they did. You got to talk Trump. Bruce Blakeman won in Long Island. He was talking Trump and tax cuts and deregulation. You always talk Trump because you're one of the greats. But I'm just saying, will your colleagues go out there and talk Trump and his agenda?
What'd you say?
Let me tell you this, everybody. New polling has come out. A new devastating poll finds that men absolutely despise the Democratic Party right now, with a whopping negative 62-point approval rating. Only 15% of American men approve of Democrats, while 77% disapprove through a Quinnipiac poll. Why? Because again, when all it is about the dang, like Democrats have it so backwards. They're anti-women because they want men to play in women's sports, and then they're anti-men because they feel like men have always men need to be put down and women need to be lifted up. And all this stuff that's coming out, all you're doing is you're losing the votes, and you're exposing yourself that you don't care about making sure that you're taking care of men and women. All you're wanting to do is put down people, or again, even when it comes to racists, guys, this right here is about to be undone by Trump. Because again, when you look at the data and you look at the actual facts of the matter, among the people that actually become lawyers, okay, 80% of all the U.S. attorneys in the United States are white, okay? Of the Biden's 200 federal judges, remember, attorneys turn into judges, 37% were white, 42% mix of Hispanic and black, and then 14% Asian. So how is this not a direct 100%, we're going to put in people of color just because the numbers don't match up? Everything that you're seeing now is completely backward and not based upon merit, not based upon who's the best for the job, but based upon the DEI wokeness that we are exposing right now. And it is one of the things that has completely destroyed America, because this is where you get. When you have DEI, this is what happens. Minnesota admits it can't even track SNAP fraud. You've got $9 billion in fraud that has been found out. Right now, it's official, at least $9 billion in Medicaid fraud was just found in Minnesota. And this is why, again, guys, we try to help you out when it comes to the healthcare, but you cannot make this stuff up. People are fed up with the fraud. We're showing you the receipts. There's no going around it. Even if you're on the left or a progressive, you cannot deny that this is a very, very bad thing. Aaron B424, let's go, brother. Said, God bless President Trump and everyone that works with him to make America great again. Amen. Show Aaron B424 some love in the chat, everybody.
You say read off the same scroll, sing off the same song sheet. Go talk like the president. I agree. Go out there and convey the message. Here's what we said we would do. Here's what we did. Exactly what the election was about. What we told you we're going to do.
And here's what we're going to do. Wait a second.
Exactly.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yes, keep electing us, and we're going to do that. I mean, that's how this thing works. What was your old boss and the guy you love, Ronald Reagan, as much as President Trump? You said Reagan always said you paint with big bold colors.
Yes.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's
and President
right.
Trump.
That's
President Trump is the best at that.
Pastel
so that's how we got to say it.
Pastels are for wusses. Bold colors are for Trump and Reagan and winners and Jim Jordan and people like that. Honestly, they got to go out and fight it out. You know that. Yeah. You know, I'm just saying, you all have to help him. He can't do it alone. You all have to help.
And again, guys, when we are working to root out the deep state, I hope you appreciate this, guys. If you do, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, because this is how we are about to do it, guys. You're hearing Marco Rubio right now making one of the biggest changes ever. Just got announced moments ago over cleaning out the deep state and the slush funds. Listen to this.
Of our foreign policy, and it should be used for the purpose of furthering the national interest. That doesn't mean we don't care about human rights. That doesn't mean we don't care about starvation. That doesn't mean we don't care about hunger. That doesn't mean we don't care about humanitarian need. What it does mean, however, is that even foreign aid, which is not charity, it is an act of the U.S. taxpayer. Now, American charities are free to give their money to whoever they want, as long as it's not a sanctioned entity. But the United States and the taxpayer money should be spent in furtherance of our foreign policy.
Yes.
Should be spent in places and on things that further our foreign policy. And even that is not unlimited. We have a limited amount of money that we can dedicate to foreign aid and humanitarian assistance. And that has to be applied in a way that furthers our national interests. And that's what we have sought to do as well. And in that endeavor as well, we have empowered the regional bureaus and our embassies to play a dramatic role. In fact, they are not just the implementers of this. They, in many cases, are the ones that are suggesting and are leading the response. And so bringing the tools of foreign aid underneath the umbrella of our broader foreign policy has been an important and dramatic reform. Even in the midst of all that, we remain engaged around the world, including in conflicts that perhaps are not central to everyday life in America, but the president has made it a priority to be a peacemaker.
So what you just heard, guys, is that back whenever Biden was president, they were giving almost $100 billion in foreign aid. The Trump administration has just cut this foreign aid down to $58 billion, almost cut in half, because everybody is fed up with, hey, explain to me how we are $38 trillion in debt right here, but yet we still have money to give to every nation across the earth. We were giving $100 billion plus a year. Now we've lowered it to 58, but it doesn't make any sense. How do you give money away that you don't have? Because then we have to borrow that, putting us more into debt. It makes no sense. So with that, and a lot of people say, well, you know, 58 billion in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. It's only 1 to 2%. 1 to 2% adds up. Over a year, 5 years, 10 years, people are fed up with it. That's why, again, Marco Rubio just announced big cuts to foreign aid. We have to make sure that we know where our dang money is going. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you approve of this, because people are making some big changes across the board, especially right now with what you're about to hear.
So, Peter, one of our theses here, and because the war and posse is the tip of the spear, and I want to just make sure people know the history here. We won the 2016 election, right? The greatest comeback in American political history, correct? 18 midterms, not the best. People took the eye off the ball. Nancy Pelosi went around and preached the gospel of impeaching Trump, and they wiped us out. I think it was 35 or 40 seats. But if you look at 2020, we won the 2020 election. President Trump's going to be coming out with a ton of information about that. We also picked up 12 House seats, which has never been done, right? We picked up net 12 House seats against Nancy Pelosi. In 22, with Turning Point and we won the midterm elections and took back the House, and we won in 24. If you go back and look at really from 2015 over the last 10 years, we've lost one federal election. And that was in 18 when the President Trump's first term. They kind of took their eye off the ball in the House. Nancy Pelosi ran on impeaching President Trump, just like Hakeem Jeffries did. That's why this coming year, Dr. Navarro, I want you to talk about economics for a second. The president's going to North Carolina. He's going to sign a big executive order this afternoon. We'll cover it live, I think, during the Charlie Kirk Show on Real America's Voice. President's going to North Carolina. He's going to continue on with his economic speech. The Secretary of the Treasury is saying end of first quarter, second quarter, a lot of the big, beautiful bill capital expenditures will kick in. Walk us through both the combination of the tariff and the big, beautiful bill depreciation schedule on bringing high value added manufacturing jobs back here to the United States, sir.
All right, let's start with the big picture. Let's start with what the Democrats are trying to do. What the Democrats are trying to do is use all the inflation they created to undermine the Trump administration. We inherited what the boss has called a mess, and it was a legitimate mess. And the mantra that we have to continually say is that Democrats cause inflation, Trump cures inflation. Mm-hmm. And what I'm doing in my office here to pull an oar on this inflation fight is deconstruct each of the pieces of the puzzle, Steve. So you got the biggest area where it's housing that you've got to worry about. You got food, you got transportation.
You just heard him, guys. Housing is a big one. I want to show you a receipt real quick. This is from HUD Secretary Scott Turner, who said 59% of illegal alien families use one or more welfare programs in our country, costing about $42 billion a year. Okay? This is of what we know of, okay? When you talk about the people that have come over all over the past 4 or 5 years, guys, and again, we can't stress this enough, it has put a huge financial strain on our welfare benefits that were already strained prior to 2020, okay? And when 59%, basically 6 out of every 10 illegal families that are here are using one or more welfare programs in our country, this is 100% hurting the average American. Why? Because there's not enough money to go around. And look at that, the keyword illegal. So when you hear about these Democrats saying that, no, Democrats are not getting benefits, it's literally proven right here. We have all the facts. They are just spewing lies when we are spewing the facts of what's actually happening.
You got healthcare. Those are like the biggies, right? And unique to each one of those sectors is why inflation got out of control, and therefore how that you're going to fix it. And thematically, your audience and the audience at AmFest today, you start, for example, with border security. How could that possibly relate to inflation? Well, it turns out that for every 1 million illegals that Biden let into the country over 4 years, that increased housing costs and rents by 1%. So if you scale that up to the 20 million illegals that he brought in, that's a 20% national increase, Steve.
Right there.
20% increase from illegal immigration in housing costs and rents. But it's not, it's worse than that, because a lot of that's focused in the blue states, the sanctuary cities. So you get places like New York experiencing these hyper increases in rents. And then you get a guy like Mamdani coming in and ironically and perversely trying to leverage that crisis into getting elected. And see, that there is the microcosm of what we've got to fight against. Because what you got to remind people is, first of all, they caused it with their illegal immigration. There's cause and effect there. We're fixing it by sealing the border. But the other part of the puzzle here is that a lot of the inflation we're fighting, it's not an on-off switch like a light. It's more like an aircraft carrier that you got to turn around very slowly. So we are engaged in all of that. If you look at, for example, food prices, very interesting. Chicken versus beef. Egg prices were literally off the charts. You couldn't even have a chart historically to chart egg prices. And it was the result, among other things, of Joe Biden's great chicken slaughter. He literally killed 80 million chickens in
to create the
overreaction to an avian.
Let me tell you this, everybody. And this all came from this that has just been found out within the last few days, everybody. Fulton admits that 315,000 unsigned votes were counted in 2020. Fulton County told Georgia State Election Board on December 9th, it does not dispute that tabulator tapes for roughly 315,000 early votes in 2020 lacked required poll worker signatures. County Attorney Ann Brumbaugh acknowledged it was a violation of the rule. A Georgia Secretary of State investigation summary later substantiated that 36 of 37 advanced voting precincts failed to sign tabulation tapes as required by statute. Yet the totals were still folded into Georgia's official results, giving Biden the win. This 100%, when you talk about the election was stolen in 2020, here's the evidence. Fully admitting. Now, this is where, again, too, we go back into Trump's third term. A lot of people are saying that Trump deserves a third term because we're finding out more stuff like this, that Biden unlawfully won the 2020 election. Let me know your thoughts, guys, because, again, too, lots of things can change because of stuff like this, that if Biden unlawfully, illegally won the 2020 election, this could merit giving Trump a third term based upon 2020 was a fraud election. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Donna Barksdale, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said, Joel, how about after the holidays, we don't do animal shelters. We don't do, they are our best friends. Are you saying we do animal shelters for the giving? Show Donna some love in the chat. Thank you so much, member of the family. Thank you so much for your blessing. Show Donna and Lori Rapier some love in the chat. And again, too, everybody, this is just adding on to the fact of everything that you're seeing right here. Remember, the blue is what happened in the price increases for eggs, whole chickens, rice, pasta, pork, breakfast sausage, butter, ice cream, everything. And look at the percentages coming down under Trump.
Flu. Hey, we've been able to solve that very quickly because it only takes 45 days from hatching to getting a broiler in a supermarket. So that one was like, so we've been actually able to reduce.
Dr. Navarro, can you give us a preview tonight? President Trump's in North Carolina. He's down there. He's going to address the nation again on economics. What do you got for us?
Well, I'll be there. I'll have a front row seat to that, Steve, and he's going to continue the themes, basically explaining first that we inherited a mess. I think that's really important for people to understand. I mean, and then he's going to explain what we're doing and why there's more than good light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, if you think about the big, beautiful bill, that's like the most underrated piece of legislation I've ever seen, because all of the good things that are coming in 2026 as a result of that are going to come hard and beautiful. Take, for example, the 100% expensing of investment. Okay, that is going to provoke a wave first of construction jobs and then of factory jobs. It's going to be a big, beautiful thing. People are going to get a major, probably the biggest rebate in their income taxes in history. This is not hyperbole. It's because, first of all, the way people are paying in the withholding tax hasn't been adjusted for the new tax bill, so it's being taken out like it's usually taken out, but it's good. Like it's never been rebated before. You got no tax on tips.
Let me be blunt. Outside of the war room, talking about your tariffs, how it's driving manufacturing back, plus generating cash, and the big, beautiful bill capital expenditure part. It's not, I mean, the White House and Treasury, you guys are rock stars. Every day we got to be hammering that. Sometimes I feel that's only the war room that talks about how it's all interlinked. You guys are the best. I think that's why they criticized the president for going so fast the other night. Well, he's got so much to talk about. They only gave him 20 minutes, right? I mean, that was bum, right? Peter, is the White House, yourself, Scott Bessent, everybody now on point that every day we're going to hammer? Because the guys in the House, you never hear about the big, beautiful bill, do you? I mean, we moved heaven and earth. You audience moved heaven and earth to get this thing done. We don't hear about it. Are you guys committed, Peter, to sell this every day so the American people know exactly kind of the plan and how you're hitting your marks in the plan, sir?
Yeah, I can tell you that is my mission, Steve, between now and November. My total focus is going to be on not just messaging, because that's just messaging. I'm working on concrete ways to get the inflation rate down and wages up. That's kind of what I do. So I'm totally focused on that. For your listeners and viewers, check my Substack on a regular basis, because I'm putting out analyses every time reports come out and op-eds and things like that. For example, let's take the beef thing. We were talking in the last segment how we solved the chicken problem. The beef thing is really interesting, Steve. Like Biden comes in with like the soy burger Green Deal mentality, right? And the first thing he does is reduces grazing area for cattle, which drives up the cost, right?
Guys, again, you cannot make up how much stupid policies Biden did automatically right off the cuff that hurt American prices, and you heard nothing on the mainstream media about how it was going to affect Americans, inflation when it came to gas prices, when it came to beef costs, egg prices, things like that. And then we find out things like this, and I love showing this because it's from our friends at CBS, everybody. About half or more of the roughly $18 billion in claims paid out by Medicaid to Minnesota-run programs may have been fraudulent, and at least 14 programs were likely exploited. You can't make this stuff up, guys. This is horrible. This is on the Democrats, every single bit of it, because they think this is more important than putting Americans first. A jury found Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan guilty of obstructing federal immigration agents trying to serve a courthouse warrant. She was arrested. She has been fully charged, found guilty by a jury. She faces up to 5 years in prison. This is what we voted for, everybody. This is us getting back on track. And again, more stuff against, it's not just about, hey, we got to do some things to make a brighter future. It's like, no, we need to go and we need to make sure that we don't have the same issues that we've dealt with over the past 5 years. How do we make sure that no matter what, we put Americans first as a priority across the board, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican? And if you don't believe like that, then guess what? You're out of here. And guys, that's why this is so important too. Whenever it comes to actually taking care of our seniors, actually putting forth plans that do what is best, the DOJ this year went against 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers alleging unlawful kickbacks when it came to health insurance for our seniors, guys. That's why we partnered with this company called Chapter. It is a free service to you if you are 65, about to turn 65 or older, and you're going through any life changes, guys. You're moving states, you've lost health insurance, you're changing jobs, anything like that. Call this company up. You can get your blessing. They have literally saved so many people on this channel, hundreds and hundreds of people on this channel, blessings by saving them thousands of dollars when it comes to the healthcare insurance, and it's all free. It's free to you. You don't even have to pay for it. It's 667-895-3015 is the number, 667-895-3015. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. I want you to be blessed. Go get your blessing. Guys, don't pay more into health insurance than you have to. This is where you can keep more of your hard-earned money. Jim Barbado, let's go, brother, with the super chat. I love it. Show our boy Jim some love in the chat, everybody. OG of the family, as well as proud U.S. Navy veteran, member for 14 months. That's OG status right there. Thank you so much, brother, and thank you for your service. Show Jim and proud U.S. Navy veteran some love in the chat, as well as Terry Parsons with the super chat said, Merry Christmas and happy, healthy New Year to you, Joel, and all. Terry, what a blessing, kind word. Show Terry some love in the chat, everybody. We've got such good news today because, again, too, we're finally charging, arresting, and people are going to jail for all this crazy crimes that we've seen, and we just want to see more of it, and you're about to hear it right here. Listen to this.
Good morning. The Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation will come to order. Welcome to today's hearing, Oversight on the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC plays a critical role in the lives of everyday Americans. From TV and radio broadcasting to cellular and satellite communications and internet connectivity, the Commission sits at the center of the services and technologies that power Americans' daily lives, that project American leadership and influence across the globe, and that form the backbone of our national economy. In other words, the Commission's work is kind of a big deal. So I am pleased that we are joined today by our witnesses, Chairman Carr and Commissioners Trusty and Gomez, for this important hearing, and especially pleased that they agreed to be here and that this is the first FCC oversight hearing this committee has held since 2020. I believe Commissioner Trusty was sitting right here staffing then Chairman Wicker at that hearing. And so, Commissioner, it is nice to see you have moved 30 feet to the other side of the dais. We have a lot of important ground to cover today. The pace of change in just the last year, let alone since the last FCC oversight hearing by this committee, has been astounding. We've seen the deployment of 5G and early groundwork for 6G. Major advancements in the satellite industry, particularly the growth of low Earth orbit, high-speed internet, AI, and seismic shifts across the media landscape. And we've seen the enactment of President Trump's Working Families Tax Cut Act, which not only reinstated spectrum auction authority for the FCC for the next decade, but contained the largest single spectrum pipeline, 800 megahertz, ever enacted into law. This will raise billions of dollars for the taxpayer. It will stimulate billions more in private sector investment as U.S. companies bring faster and cheaper internet to more Americans. And it will lay the foundation for countless technological innovations. These benefits will be felt nationwide and indeed worldwide across multiple generations of Americans. On day one of the new administration, the FCC under Chairman Carr hit the ground running and already has an impressive list of accomplishments to show. These include the delete docket, which continues to clear out the regulatory underbrush, ensuring the integrity of the universal service programs and preventing fraud by illegal aliens, reforming the FCC's satellite licensing regime to help bolster America's position as the global leader in space commerce, streamlining permitting to speed broadband build-out, and moving at lightning speed to implement the new spectrum pipeline. Already teeing up 100 megahertz of valuable C-band spectrum to be auctioned for commercial use in the near future. But there is plenty more work to be done. Given the rapid pace of evolution in technology and telecommunications, it is a wonder that the legal regime governing these issues and the Commission's role in regulating them has largely not been updated since 1996. And there are any number of issues, from the utility of the so-called public interest standard in the modern era, to retransmission consent rules in the streaming era, to the current media ownership caps, where a statutory update might be worthwhile. The world of today, with mobile computers in every pocket and artificial intelligence becoming exponentially more capable, is markedly different from the time when cell phones were the size of footballs, when Gordon Gekko walked on the beach holding a brick to the side of his head, and from the time when AOL was the leading edge of internet connectivity. We live in a different world, and it is worth considering whether Congress should revisit the Communications Act and update it for the modern age. On the public interest standard in particular, if my colleagues across the aisle do what many expect and hammer the chairman over their newfound religion on the First Amendment and free speech, I will be obliged to point out that those concerns were miraculously absent when the Biden administration was pressuring big tech to silence Americans for wrongthink on COVID and election security. It will underscore a simple truth, that the public interest standard and its wretched offspring, like the news distortion rule, have outlived whatever utility they once had, and it is long past time for Congress to pass reforms. I'm grateful to our witnesses for being here today to talk about what the FCC is doing and how to address some of these important issues.
Guys, I'm telling you, lots of stuff's about to change. Big Pharma is going to be in big panic mode. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you, there is not one industry that is not being affected, touched, because remember, Trump is such a proactive president. Trump's FDA, listen to this, guys. Trump's FDA is requiring the flu vaccine to prove its effectiveness to remain on the market. Remember, what do you get told every year? Get your flu shot, get your flu shot, get your flu shot. All the stuff is being relooked at. All this stuff, because again, we don't even know if it works. Everything that we've been told by doctors, by Big Pharma, by all this stuff is being like thrown, a lot of it's being thrown out the door because again, too, does it even work? Does it even merit it? Or did some dang lobbyist go to Washington, D.C., pay somebody off to get a law written that requires it? Guys, we're living in a new world right now with everything that's happening and everything that like we're seeing now with the massive wins with inflation and all the stuff that's about to happen. We are finally getting to the truth of we've been living under the deep state for a long time, and it starts with this. Because again, lobbyists to me shouldn't even be allowed in the dang state of Washington, D.C. But when you can get a company to go spend hundreds of millions to billions of dollars on going and treating these congressional leaders like they're royalty, to then put bills on the floor, to then vote on them a certain way, tell me, is that not corruptness even in itself? Stephanie Andrice, thank you so much for your support. Stephanie, show Stephanie some love in the chat, everybody, member of the channel. I love it. Stephanie Andrice, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. Ashkenazi Zionist, thank you so much. Said happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to everyone. God bless you all, and may God bless America. Amen. Show Ashkenazi some love in the chat, everybody, as well as our girl Kim Jordan, OG of the family, said thank you for keeping us informed. You're awesome. Kim, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the family. Let's go. Show our brother Jim some love in the chat. And don't forget to show Stephanie some love in the chat. Guys, thank y'all so much for your support. This is, again, in a couple of days, our biggest giving day of the year. I'm super excited about it. I know you are, because we are about to see some massive blessings for these kids, these children that live in these children's homes that don't got nobody, but they got us, guys. A lot of people are excited about what's about to happen in the next coming months with what Trump is doing. Listen to this.
July 4th, 1776. Joining us now is Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor, great friend, and mentor to so many of us. Newt, you know, I swear on this thought. You've got Mr. Trump here, who is, in a sense...
And I was going to ask y'all guys, because this has really caught me, and because I'm always like listening for the keywords. Kudlow always references Trump as Mr. Trump. Usually when you're in this type of stage, you would always say President Trump. Do you think that this is, like, what do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Reimagining capitalism. He's rejuvenating capitalism. He's doing it with his tax cuts and deregulation and drill, baby, drill, and reciprocal trade and so forth. And I think it's working. And I think we are right. We're heading into a major economic boom. I'm talking 5% growth, could be 6% growth. But Newt, here's my question to you. How long can it last? He's going to instill this into the Republican Party. How long can it last before they start jumping ship and going this way and that way? Trump's a winner. Will the party be a winner when Mr. Trump is no longer at in the White House?
Well, I think the jury's out. If President Trump spends 2026 as effectively as he spent 20 minutes last night, then I think by the time we get to the election, most of the Republican candidates and most of the Republican volunteers will have learned the lessons. Remember, Reagan's great strength, Thatcher's great strength was ideas, getting people to understand that a better world was possible, that it was a principled better world, not just random luck. I think that President Trump, I hope that last night was a sign that we're going to get more 20-minute speeches and not the kind of 90-minute wandering stories that we got in Pennsylvania last week. Because people who want to be part of a movement have to have a leader who is teaching them where the movement's going, what its principles are. And I would hope that next year that President Trump will give a series of very structured speeches around key areas to literally educate the base of the party and the base of the movement. The fact is, I think we're going to be in a boom. I think that we're going to gain seats next year. I'm actually very optimistic. But I think your point, which is fundamental, Reagan in the end didn't change the Republican Party. Thatcher in the end didn't change the Conservative Party. And so the question is, by the way, by contrast, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had, after all, 3 full terms before he passed away in office, so he had over 12 years. But Roosevelt did change the Democratic Party, and it's never actually gone back to the pre-Roosevelt model.
I love what you said about his speech last night. It was 19 minutes, and it was concise. And he had some numbers. I'm so happy. I've been saying to these guys, use numbers. Numbers are on your side if you know how to use them. And I hope they refine that. Reagan used numbers all the time to his advantage. But the bigger point, I'm hoping he does what you say. He goes out there next year. He gives these concise, direct speeches. People understand this stuff he's talking about. Take-home pay, for example. That was a Reagan line. People understand that. It's so fundamental, the whole kitchen table issue. And I want to see his lieutenants, J.D. Vance, cabinet members. And I was talking to Jim Jordan about this just before you. Members of the House, they want to keep the House, fine. They've got to go out there and repeat and use Mr. Trump's arguments, his policies. Don't make stuff up. Don't think just because you have a distant relative that hates Trump, you have to walk away. Stay on his message. His message is terrific right now.
Well, look, I think there's a great opportunity next summer. The president clearly wants to have kind of a brand new, never before midterm convention. I think if they do it as an online participatory convention where every American can participate in one way or another, and you could literally have millions of people tuning in, you could find ways for people to be sending in ideas, you could do a whole range of things to really have a grassroots up Trumpism rather than a big speech down Trumpism. I think he has an opportunity next summer to profoundly reshape not just the Republican Party, but the whole fabric of American politics.
Turn the Republican Party into a MAGA party. And guys, if you love and appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, listen to this, because this is to me the message. You cannot stress this message enough. 59% of illegal families use one or more welfare programs in our country, costing about $42 billion a year. Then you post this: illegal aliens sent $56 billion in cash to their home countries last year alone. That's after their kids enjoyed free education, free lunches, free medical care paid for, and free housing assistance paid for by the taxpayer. This is the type of message where, again, if people are feeling a hurt in their wallets, you need to attribute where the hurt came from. Is this attack on the minorities? No, it's attack on people that came into our country because of a certain party opened the floodgates, and that's why all this has transpired. Guys, when you're seeing hundreds of billions of dollars go towards and people that are not even true citizens, did not come in the right way, that's where all this stuff, inflation, has come from. But at the same time too, all the fraud that we've shown you today. Now, when you see that the total, it went from 1 billion to 2 billion to 8 billion. And then now, after 6 more people have been indicted, we're at least $9 billion in total fraud, including Medicaid, SNAP, across the board, found in one state, guys, one state that we are investigating. Now, you tell me, is this not the message that needs to be communicated to everybody across the board? Doesn't matter how much money you make. It's that there is a system of corruption within the federal government. Tree Guy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show Tree Guy some love in the chat, everybody. Member of the channel, we appreciate you so much. And don't forget to show Stephanie Andress some love in the chat, as well as Lori Rapier. Thank y'all so much for your blessings, everybody.
Isolating the hard left, convincing the independents that in fact this is the right direction, and convincing honest, decent Democrats who look at things like this $1 billion scandal in Minneapolis and can't possibly be for it. I mean, these are things where there's a chance here to have a pro-American Democratic Party that is repulsed by some of the things going on, and have a genuine 30-40% of the Democrats decide that their future is America's future, and their future is better off with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I agree with you about that, but I think they're destined to keep drifting to the socialist left. The other thing I just want, before I lose you, Newt, you've been writing about this. I think, next year, July 4th, 2016, July 4th, 1776. I think this 250th anniversary of the Declaration is a big thing. It's a very big thing. And I think the president, you're a scholar, the president should talk about it, what the meanings were, what the founders were doing, who they were. By the way, those guys were all free market followers of Adam Smith. They were all free market followers of Adam Smith. They were the earliest supply-siders, the founders.
Well, Walter Isaacson's written a great new book called the most important sentence ever written, which is the opening of the Declaration of Independence. And it's a great way to ask yourself, what did it mean? Why did they say we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? I mean, these guys had thought deeply about the nature of freedom and the nature of where your rights come from. And Isaacson's done a great job. And it's the kind of book which could really be a centerpiece for a lot of conversations next year.
I'm going to get it.
I'm telling you, y'all, like this stuff, look, Elon Musk is now chiming in on the $9 billion fraud that's happening out of Minnesota, calling for the to jail all the public officials within Minnesota that's tied to this. Guys, is this not insane? It's all tied, like I think they said it earlier, and you can fact check me this, but I believe it's all tied to Somali fraud. All Somali fraud. It's NGOs, the non-government organizations, and now it's at the point now where Elon Musk, we've shown you he's going to be putting his money towards and backing the GOP for the midterms in the Senate and in the House to reclaim, make sure we win the House. Because most of the time, we all know history, is that the whoever wins during the presidential year wins the House. Most of the time during the midterms, they lose the House. It's so crazy that within a matter of a couple years, how much people are ready to jump ship and not actually see where all the success can go to if we just stick with one team. So if we can do this, everything that you're about to see next, guys, this is the major news we want to show everybody across the board, because this is wins for MAGA, not Republican, not Trump. Not Democrats. It's MAGA. It's Trump's party. I believe the future of America when it comes to all parties need to be Make America Great Again. Listen to this.
Address comes as we get brand new inflation numbers. November's consumer price index shows that CPI up 2.7% year over year. That was cooler than expected. Come on, people, 2.7% inflation. Who doesn't love that? It was 3% when he took office, a sign inflation pressures easing, even if Americans don't yet feel that fully at the checkout line. And the president used the moment to look ahead. He teased what he calls warrior dividends, aggressive housing reforms, and what could be the largest tax reform season ever, fueled by tariff revenue. The pitch: growth first, relief next. Prices may be stabilizing, but for working class Americans, confidence has not yet caught up. The data is improving, the message is sharpening, but the economy is still very much on trial. Mr. Payne, what say you?
Yeah, everything you said, all the way above is true. And, I think when you started, the most important part of this, and President Trump mentioned it, is the levels that we're dealing with, we had not seen in at least a generation. You have to go back to the early 80s. When a lot of people alive never even knew about that inflation could be this tough, that it could go up that quickly. And even though President Biden was warned that it would, They still went ahead and they flooded the zone, and it's tough to dig out of something like that. But we are digging out of it. This morning's numbers were so amazing. Not a single firm on Wall Street was even close. Not even close.
Kevin Hassett, member, said 61 economists were surveyed by Bloomberg. Every single one got it wrong. I thought of you.
Yeah, not even close. Not only did they get it wrong, not even close. So now, of course, all day long you'll hear, the grumblings. Well, if you look at shelter, and if you do this, and if you do that, hey, the number's the number, right? And plus, the gist of the number is housing is coming down. Some of these key things are coming down. They're moving in the right direction. You know what's ironic? President Trump said he would lower inflation on day one. And so you see CPI, the 3.0 number in January, it came down every single month until the tariffs went in. You knew there would be a small hit. That small hit is there. Yesterday, a great piece by Anna Wong over at Bloomberg saying in so many key categories, she already sees potentially where tariffs have already peaked. That's going to be a non-story for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I love.
Because it's a one-time tax.
Right.
And then as you adjust year over year,
Right.
it's not factored in. EJ and Tony, earnings growth is outpacing this year, inflation this year. The average American's weekly paycheck now buys 1.6% more than in January after falling 4% under Joe Biden. What a difference a president makes.
Can I just say,
11 months.
These numbers are like Shakira's hips. They don't lie.
Oh.
Okay? And the
I'm not allowed to
numbers.
think
What the world?
I can't think about that.
I stole that from somebody, but I liked it.
Again, everybody, this is like, just think about it. Trump has literally been in office for going on just 1 year. Remember, like, this is, I want to show you this, guys, because you cannot, it's like, I can tell you things, but when I show you it, and you can go fact check me on what I show you, but it's just insane to see where we came from. And if you appreciate these receipts, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what we came from. This was back in 2021. Reparations for slavery could have reduced COVID-19 transmission and deaths in the U.S., Harvard study says. This is what the Biden administration was all about. This is where we came from, and this is why we're trying to get back to common sense. We're trying to make sure that we don't go back to this wokeness crap. It made absolutely no sense that they pulled things together to try to justify their whole just spending us into oblivion when it came to all the inflation that we saw. Gene Kopich, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said it should be illegal for members of Congress to attend Christmas parties hosted by NGOs. That's a conflict of interest. I believe it. Amen to that. Show Gene some love in the chat. OG of the family. Thank you so much, Gene Kopich. One of the things is that, again, I have this over here where Elon Musk said, he literally said the biggest scam we've seen is this so-called non-government organization, NGO. It makes no sense to have a government-funded non-government organization. There is a scam that has grown out of control next level. That's what we're talking about, everybody. Like, this is the type of stuff that only the government could come up with something so dumb of what we're hearing like this about these NGOs, all this fraud, Somali fraud. And look, we're showing you just again, too, it makes no sense. Jim Barbato, OG of the family. Let's go, brother. Keep it up. I love it. Show our brother Jim some love in the chat, as well as our boy Ralph Campbell, Mobile Welding, said a little for the kids. Thank you, Joel and family. Help our kids. Amen. Show our boy Ralph Campbell, as well as Jim Barbato, some love in the chat, everybody. Such a blessing. Appreciate y'all so much.
Waiting for a day I could use it. The numbers support the president's message last night. What I loved about what he had to say was that he was direct, he was to the point, he hit all the notes. He wasn't gaslighting Americans. He was saying, we've done X, Y, and Z. We're going to do these next few things next year. This is a work in progress, and he was honest with the American people. Yesterday, I also thought that he was going to unveil some sort of a surprise. I forecasted that. I said, I'm going to go out and on a limb, and what did we get? We got the warrior dividends. So 1.45 million U.S. servicemen are going to get get that check for $1,776 before the holidays. Also, to add to the numbers, the president was citing what people are going to feel next year as a result of the big, beautiful bill. He talked about feeling as a family $11,000 richer.
That's big money, y'all.
That is substantial, especially when you consider Joe Biden's 9.1% inflation that took money out of the American family's pocket. So I think that he was very clear that it's going to take time for all of this to kick in, but he also did a great job of looking at everything he accomplished, which includes more than just some certain things on the economy, the border, foreign policy, peace. He proved that trade and tariffs were scary for the American people, but that they are bringing dividends home to us on the manufacturing front, foreign investment front, our just independence in general on the world stage, not being reliant on China, but also that this tariff revenue can be put to really good uses. So he hit the energy notes as well. The national average for a gallon of regular gasoline today, $2.89. The forecast is that by
nice.
In just a few months' time, we could be substantially closer to $2.50 or even under that. So he's doing a lot. And I think that anybody who watched that said, we hear you. Thanks for being honest.
Do you want me to jump in?
Jump in.
A few thoughts. That was a good one, Jackie. You know how we used to do nominations for SAT word of the day? Maybe we do like analogy or metaphor of the day.
Or made up word, because sometimes we
I like it.
Oh, I want to be in that category. I make up a word every day, so I'm in that one. I get the Don King Award at the end of the year for most made up words.
Kevin Hassett does not make up words. He doesn't mince words either. I love what he said, that if you take a look at the last 3 months and annualize it, core inflation is now only 1.6%. We anticipated this. If you put the pedal to the metal on aggregate supply, that puts downward pressure on prices. That is what we are seeing. It is the near-term trajectory that he likes, that annualized rate in the last 3 months. Here's another note that I read. Core PCE next year will be below 2% if shelter is only at a 1% annualized rate next year. So there is a lot of excitement. I think, Charles, to your point, I read a lot of naysayer reports like, oh, but like you can't track the month over month in shelter. So let's take it as an anomaly. I'm with you. The number's the number. Today, let's talk about the numbers that we have. Next month, we'll talk about the numbers that we get next month. I don't want to pick and choose and strip out everything to fit the narrative. Here is another
guys, and I want to show you this too, because again, to everything that you're saying, just remember, when it comes to our overall cost of living, when it comes to healthcare, Medicaid, Medicare, the more that we deport, the more the prices come down. Even with this right here, President Trump says unemployment only rose to 4.5% because he is slashing the federal workforce at record levels. So again, we're reducing the size of government. We're making sure to do what? Put out only what is priority. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't get right now, is that it's going to take time. It took 4.5 years. And now that look at this right here, we are cutting, confirms he is ending the NGO foreign aid industrial complex, as we're cutting NGO spending, as we're cutting costs across the board. It's only going to get better and better every single day. I love this. If you love this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Our boy Jim Barbato with the other super chat. Let's go. Show Jim some love in the chat, as well as Stephanie Andrus again with the super chat. We appreciate you so much for your support, Stephanie. Give Stephanie some love in the chat, everybody. Such a blessing for your support. We couldn't do it without y'all, everybody. We are so blessed to have such a wonderful community that is giving, such a giving community. And remember, like, we didn't start out like this. I remember, we're literally having over 2,000 people watching a day, and we're just trying to bring you the truth, the facts. We're trying to build the best community out there and a giving community. But I remember we were just trying to get 20 people to watch us. And now I love this community. We're here to serve you. We love you all. We're here to bring value to you. So if you don't mind, helping us grow the channel, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, when you share our videos, when you hit the like button, when you share our videos on X, on Facebook, it means so much. And again, another part of us bringing value to you is helping you out for those, our seniors that are on Medicare. If you're going through any big life change, whether you're moving states, changing jobs, you lost health insurance, this company right here will bless you. This is a free service to you. We chose them because when we looked at all of our sponsors, we only want to bring sponsors and partners to this channel that's going to bring value to you. They compare all 5,600 plans, and they make sure that you are set up for the best plan, saving the most money possible. And they've saved hundreds of people on this channel thousands of dollars with their support. The number is 667-895-3015. That's 667-895-3015. Don't forget, guys, to mention Joel from TrueLife News. We're here to serve y'all. I'm going to give some special love to those that have given today because remember, just a couple of days, our biggest giving day of the year. I'm super excited because, again, my favorite day of the month is the 22nd when we're giving to these local children's homes, making a difference in their lives. Let's give some special love to our boy Robert Cash with the super chat. Say God bless all the children and God bless everyone. Show our boy Robert some love in the chat. Richard Kreider Jr., thank you so much, brother. Lori Rapier, OG of the family. Show Lori some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Google user, for your support. Wendy Linton, thank you so much, Wendy. Aaron B424, love it. Appreciate you, brother. Donna Barksdale, thank you so much for your kindness and support. Member of the channel, we appreciate you, Donna. Our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the family, such a blessed giver, so kind. Y'all show Jim some special love in the chat. Also show proud U.S. Navy veteran some love in the chat. Terry Parsons, thank you so much, Terry, for your support. Asha Kanazi Zionist, Kim Jordan, thank y'all so much for your kindness and support. Tree Guy, thank you so much, brother, for your support. Gene Kopich, OG. Gene's been with us for a while. Thank you so much, Gene. Ralph Campbell, Mobile Welding, thank you so much, brother. Stephanie Andrus, show Stephanie some special love in the chat, everybody, for her kindness and blessing. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Guys, thank y'all so much for supporting us. We're here to serve you every day with the breaking news. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the